what Byron Allen will do with that $1 billion. Will he give part of it back to the community? Because if you get $5 billion out of this situation, I would like to see about, two of that go back into the community in a positive way where we actually see some change. Billion ain't no million. And some real change can be had, especially in America that we know is really not built for us. Byron Allen, if you win this, we need you. We'll see what you do with the power that you might gain.
Wait, McDonald's just quietly paid up in a 10 billion lawsuit and you're telling me nobody's talking about it? This story involves racism, black-owned media, and one of the biggest lawsuits in corporate history. And yep, Byron Allen did not back down. Don't scroll, hit subscribe. So if you believe black media matters, let's break this down.
Why McDonald's
McDonald's.
specifically?
So I said to McDonald's, listen up. You're doing 100 billion a year in revenue. 100 billion. You're pulling about 40 billion a year out of the black community. You're spending about $1 billion a year in advertising. Less than 5 million is going to black-owned media, not to be confused with targeted. And we, as black-owned media, cannot survive with that disparity. And McDonald's, there's some serious issues there. It isn't just me. McDonald's has been sued multiple times, 2 of them that I'm aware of by the black franchisees who have said, hey, why do you just keep putting me in the black neighborhood? They've been sued by the black executives. They've been sued by the black store employees. They've been sued by the head of global security who spoke at a town hall meeting and said to Chris Kempczynski, the CEO of McDonald's, I'm very disappointed about your racist text messages. Chris Kempczynski sent some racist text messages to the mayor of Chicago, and he got caught. And he went on an apology tour. And as a part of his apology tour for getting caught sending these racist text messages about black and Latino families, he did a town hall with his employees. And the head of global security, a black man, said, I was very disappointed by your racist text messages. And that man was fired after 20 years. So he too sued McDonald's. And then if that wasn't enough, an unprecedented vote came down that none of these lawsuits have anything to do with me. This is the culture at McDonald's. 55% of the stockholders at McDonald's, 55%, mainly white people, voted to hire a third-party firm to investigate McDonald's for civil rights violations. That is unheard of. I'm 62 years old. I've studied a lot about business. I love business. I have never seen that in my life where 55% of your stockholders have said, mainly white people, there's some problems here. We need to hire a third-party firm to investigate civil rights and violations at this company.
In 2021, media mogul Byron Allen called out McDonald's for allegedly spending less than 0.5% of its ads budget on black-owned media. In 2023, he sued them for $10 billion, claiming racial discrimination and economic exclusion. He accused of McDonald's of hiding behind multicultural fronts while avoiding real partnerships with black-owned companies. This wasn't just about fast food. It was about how money gets moved around black creators. Byron Allen said what a lot of us been feeling for years.
McDonald's has a $10 billion lawsuit against them because media mogul Byron Allen is taking them to court over claims of racial discrimination in their advertising strategy. Let me break it down and explain why this could be a massive business mistake for McDonald's if these allegations are true. Byron Allen, who owns media companies like the Weather Channel, says McDonald's is racially stereotyping by excluding black-owned media from their $1.6 billion annual ad budget. He claims that McDonald's put black-owned networks in a separate African-American tier with crumbs, less than $5 million in 2019. To put it in perspective, 40% of McDonald's customers are black. And here's the kicker. If McDonald's loses this case, not only will it cost them $10 billion, but their reputation as a global brand that loves everybody could also take a hit. Lesson 1. Diversity isn't just PR. Companies that neglect inclusive marketing, they're leaving money and loyalty on the table. If Allen's allegations hold up, it will show McDonald's missed the memo on leveraging diversity as a strength. Lesson 2, transparency matters. If your decisions don't reflect your customer base, people will notice. And in this day and age of receipts, lawsuits like this will happen. So here's the bottom line. If these allegations are found to be true, McDonald's made a big mistake. This case is a wake-up call for every business to back up their words with real actions. What do you think? Does Byron Allen have a case? Or should McDonald's be able to use their money however they see fit and not face any repercussions?
As of June 13, 2025, just 1 month before the trial was set to begin, McDonald's settled with Byron Allen. The terms confidential, but what we do know is that McDonald's has been committed to buying market value ads from Allen Media Group. Allen dropped both his $10 billion and $100 million lawsuits. So you settled quietly right before trial, but still say you did not do anything wrong. Let's talk about that. Somebody finna get exposed in court.
McDonald's, there's been a great deal of racism coming out of McDonald's. They've been sued by the black franchisees, the black executives, the black store employees, the head of security, a black person who had been there for 20 years and spoke up at a town hall meeting, asking Chris Kaczynski and telling him that he was really upset about his racist text messages that Chris Kaczynski sent to the mayor of Chicago that were completely unforgivable, where he blamed black and Latino parents for their murder, for their death. It's really important that when we see anti-Semitism, racism, sexism, and we see homophobia, we have to stand up and we have to speak out. And we're a firm believer that Chris Kaczynski needs to be fired, and if the board doesn't fire him, then the board should be replaced.
Byron Allen owns platforms like the Weather Channel, HBCU Go, and several local news stations. He controls more than 90% of black-owned media and space in the U.S. McDonald's spending habits reflected a broader industry problem. Big companies love diversity in ads, but don't invest in black-owned platforms. This settlement sets a major precedent. Black creators can fight back and win. This is just about Byron Allen. It's about all the black-owned brands, creators, and companies that get overlooked. YouTube creators too, like me.
Byron Allen has been doing this lawsuit with McDonald's since 2021, and it is because they are not advertising with any of his channels. The Weather Channel, he's the owner of the Weather Channel, saying that basically the McDonald's audience does not align and need to advertise with the Weather Channel. Who doesn't watch the Weather Channel? There's no race to that. Byron Allen is also stating that when it comes to advertising, McDonald's has a sector just for African American advertisement where they're able to pay a lot less. They're able to pay those companies a lot less, kind of making it seem like that's a black channel. So it's going to be scaled back. But is the weather black? The weather is for everybody, right? So McDonald's is trying to skim us up off the top. If you are black or Hispanic, and especially with the discrimination lawsuit that the CEO of McDonald's recently endured after some racy text messages. This is the CEO of McDonald's. His name is like Chris Kaczynski, one of those type of names. Well, a few years ago in Chicago at a McDonald's, 2 young children, one black and one Hispanic, ended up getting shot in the parking lot, unalived at the McDonald's. So in the lawsuit, there was a lawsuit that had something to do with the McDonald's because that's where they got unalived at. Well, Chris Kaczynski, he was texting Lori Lightfoot, who's the mayor of Chicago at the time. And he said that it was the parents' fault that the children got unalived. He blamed the parents. And when those text messages got leaked, he had to come out and, apologize and retract that statement because it was like, how was it the parents' fault that the kids were unalived? Of course they don't want anything to happen to their children. But this started mass protesting against McDonald's, and it showed the racial discrimination in the advertisement and in just companies in general especially big billion-dollar conglomerates like McDonald's, and how they're not really all the way working with black people the way they say they are. So when I grew up, I didn't eat McDonald's growing up. My parents didn't give me fast food like that. But I remember McDonald's having a 365 black campaign. Do you guys remember that? And I remember the commercials, the R&B commercials. So they would sell to us, but they don't want to work and advertise and make money with us. Catch it. You catch that? Now, my cousin always says it takes money to go to war. And the only person that would be big enough and rich enough to go up against a mega conglomerate like McDonald's would have to be a Byron Allen. Him suing them for racial discrimination is going to be a huge deal on how they deal with black and Hispanic companies from now on. This is going to expose them. Because Byron Allen's lawyers have now made it so they have to go to trial. That's what makes this news. They could have handled this under the table. He could have asked for $10 billion. They could have gave him $3, $4, $5 billion just for racial discrimination. But now they're going to take it to trial, and all McDonald's stuff is going to be laid out on the table to see what they really think about the communities that they generally serve in. Now, I wonder if he wins, what Byron Allen will do with that $1 billion. Will he give part of it back to the community? Because if you get $5 billion out of this situation, I would like to see about, two of that go back into the community in a positive way where we actually see some change. Billion ain't no million. And some real change can be had, especially in America that we know is really not built for us. Byron Allen, if you win this, we need you. We'll see what you do with the power that you might gain.
Now, I want to know, do you think McDonald's is really going to change, or is it just hush money to avoid court? Should other brands like Amazon, Coca-Cola, or Nike be called out next? Would you stop supporting companies that don't support black media? If so, drop a brain if you're glad Byron Allen stood his ground, and subscribe so we can follow the real stories the media skips over. And you guys, next week, if you guys would like, we can break down what this means for content creators like us and how we all can build something that nobody can't ignore. So don't forget to subscribe to Modest Transformation by Celeste, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, for your daily reactions. Ciao.